my older brother gifted this hoodie to me for Christmas this year. And I was literally like, we were up in the mountains too, like snowboarding. So it was like perfect time for a hoodie. And I'm just like, where the hell did you get this? This is like the most comfortable goddamn thing I've ever worn. I'll say it again without swearing. I was like, where did you get this? This is like the most comfortable hoodie I've like ever worn. And he's like, oh, it's this new company, Feet. They're in, I think he said Venice, but Santa Monica, Venice area. Yep. I'm like, hell yeah, that's super close. And then we basically connected over Instagram with Cameron Azoff, who's a very good buddy. So shout out to you, Cam.
Shout out, Cam.
Thank you for helping orchestrate this as well and connecting us. But hell yeah, dude, it was like a very organic way of just, here's this cool company. They're kind of based in LA and, you know, they're doing cool stuff and it's extremely comfortable. So I was like, hell yeah.
That's the way to build anything, is just organic and natural. And it's so hard because that doesn't scale, right? Those are serendipitous moments that you just kind of hope for. But that's just like, you just put enough shit out there in the world and hope it comes back around and gets connected.
Totally. And like, it's got to feel good to you before you give it to others, right?
Yeah.
Like that's kind of like one of the big things like Randy always says with like Casamigos, it's like we made a tequila that we loved. We didn't even know we were going to sell it. Like these are his words. Like we didn't even plan on selling it. We just wanted to make the best tequila we could for us and our friends. So like that authenticity, I feel like is so key. And I mean, but you guys seem like you're doing the right thing all around, listening to your consumers and creating stuff that you're passionate about and all that.
That's where it starts. And friends are the most honest, right? And like, that's how I've learned. I've been in this business 7 years, and it's like, you could tell when your friends don't hold back, where it's like, you'll come out with a drop and they're either texting you like, hey, let me get that. Or they're or you try to say like, hey, do you want to come by the store and get some? And they're like, I'm kind of busy. I don't know if I can come by. And you're like, oh shit, this didn't hit at all. And then even when you gift it to friends and it's like, hey, just, you know, I like to gift with just like, hey, wear this, see if you like it, give me your straight up feedback. And it's like, you can see if they're wearing it or not. And it's like, when you're with your friends, it's like, oh, they're wearing a hoodie. They're not wearing my hoodie. Okay, cool. Why did you not pick out the hoodie? And they're like, you know, that's always the classic. It's always like, And I'm like, you think I'm not going to notice, but I'm not mad. I'm not approaching it from like fuck you, I gave you something you're not wearing. And I'm approaching it from like, I actually really want to know.
Yeah.
And they'll give me feedback and they'll be like, I don't want to look that soft and cozy with this outfit. And I'm like, that's fair. So like, something we're coming out with is we're actually reversing this hoodie. So you can imagine it inside out.
So it's funny because the inside actually kind of looks like the outside.
Exactly.
I wanted to like ask about that at some point, but like both look very cool and comfortable, but like you can kind of show it. It's like a more solid color kind of on the inside. So you can kind of tell like typically more solid on the outside, I guess. But anyway.
It looks more like a traditional hoodie. It doesn't look like you're wearing for that type of vibe. And so like that came from feedback from all my best friends when they wouldn't wear the hoodies, like going to like a nice restaurant or anything. So there's like, I don't want to look like I'm kind of lounging. And I'm like, I think that's fucking tight. But if I like that look, but if you're not into that, interesting. If I flipped it inside out and they're like, yeah. So now we're flipping it inside out.
That's it. Huh. It had to be in a movie I saw like 15 years ago or something, but there was a scene where the person flipped their socks inside out.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it was actually a friend of mine, someone in real life, I don't remember. But they flipped the socks inside out, and then someone asked him, why are you wearing your socks inside? He's like, why would I wear them the other way? I was like, they're the soft parts on the outside.
Yeah.
I want that on my feet, you know? And I just always remember that. And that's like exactly what it's reminding me exactly of that, actually.
It's interesting.
This is the softer side, isn't it?
Yeah, which is interesting. With the socks, because we sold hundreds of thousands of pairs of socks, and we had a lot of people that flip them inside out. And I started to ask why. It actually makes sense. Like if you look at a normal sock, the seams are on the inside on your foot. So if you flip it inside out, it's all smooth, no seams. And you're
I
like,
gotta try this.
Yeah, it's actually more comfortable to flip them inside out. They look a little different, but it's interesting. I think it just goes back to like being curious about everything, right? And just like, I think if you approach, I think too many people do themselves wrong. They let their ego get in the way and like they'll approach someone instead of being like, if something bothers them, like, fuck, I gave a hoodie to someone and they're not wearing it. I'm mad at them. I'm going to throw shade at them. I'm going to do a sly little comment like, oh, you don't even want to wear my hoodie, blah, blah, blah. Then that person gets defensive and then you start getting an issue. It's like, approach it from curiosity. Like, hey, I actually have a very genuine question. Like, why are you not wearing it? Great. And that's how you get the good feedback with everything in life, whether it's
Yeah.
a hoodie or whether it's like a friend that didn't invite you to a party. And it's like, hey, I thought we were close enough to go to your birthday party. Like, am I misreading this relationship? Like, tell me about that. And if you could approach it with like sincere and like genuine, that's how you get the best feedback.
Yeah, and it's exactly that. There's no resentment built. There's no passive aggressiveness. There's no of any of the other stuff. It's just curiosity, and that's, I think, one of the best ways to live. Exactly what you're saying. And we've had a lot of people on the podcast speak on curiosity as far as brand building, relationships, whatever it may be. Like, I mean, I'm an actor. I have to stay curious, or else I'm going to be extremely boring. And or the stories that we want to tell. If not, you're not curious enough to go explore a different route that you might have never done. It's not going to be very entertaining. It's very cut and dry. So it's great advice.
Thank you for watching Studio 22.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
And follow our socials at Studio 22 Podcast.